Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Bim bam, bim bim bam, bim 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 bim. Let's have a tree here you singing again. Sorry. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bim. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 la. Give us strength enough to recognize our faults, wisdom enough to understand your laws, loyalty enough to discharge our duties. Give us courage enough to be true to the best within us, charity enough to see the best in others. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to feel your presence.
We rise to the Borough and we face east, which is this way.
Thank you, O God, for the world you created. You have filled the world with beauty for our eyes, with music and laughter for our ears, with soft things for us to touch, with fragrances for us to smell, with fine foods to sustain us and to bring us delight. As we enjoy the many blessings which you have so bountifully granted, may we too bring goodness to the lives of others.
Shema
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
B'chol levacha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu
הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בה ושיבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך
v'yisharecha. Ma'an tizkaru asitem kol mitzvotai. V'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiyot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Let's have the girl.
Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. I am the Lord your God.
Let's have the boys read the first half of the next page. Mi Kamocha recalls the exodus from Egypt when our people were rescued from slavery to freedom. This first deliverance from oppression has become a symbol of freedom from all slaveries and hardships, in remembrance of all the redemptions of the past. Adonai is forgiving and ever-loving. God sends help in various ways. Although we cannot see God, it is good to know that we can depend on His help. Praised are you, Lord, Redeemer of Israel. We recite the Mi Kamocha with the hope that someday all people will live in freedom without fear. Everything now, up till now, is really warm-up. The way Jewish people understand prayer is that prayer is something that's very, very difficult to do. So we've been warming up real slowly, and now we come to the word tefillah, which is the word which means the prayer. It's our main prayer. And therefore, it's kind of a time we really believe that God is whispering to us all the time. The problem is we've got so much static in our lives, we can't hear God. I'd like to take 1 second, just for a second right now. Let's be absolutely, totally silent. And let's listen to what we hear. We appreciate the world we're in. We want to try to tune into the world. Last night, those of you that met the Bedouin, the Bedouin talked about how his people are still try to be very close to God. And one of the ways they do that is they try to be very close to God's earth. In the world we live in, where we drive in cars all day long and we shop at the mall and we go to movies and we run around constantly. Gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei ha'kol ata, Rav le'hoshia, mechakel chayim b'chesed, mechayei ha'kol b'rachim
Baruch Shenatan Torah Lo Yisrael Bigdu Shato. Praise be the one who in his holiness has given Torah to his people Israel.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
Beit Yaakov V'necha Ba'or Adonai. House of Jacob, come let's walk. Thy life, Lord, every king is watch for the faith.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. It's customary to touch the Torah and kiss it when we bring it by, okay? Please be seated. Okay, instead of me teaching Torah to you, you're going to teach Torah to each other today. And we're going to begin with group number 1. Group number 1.
Everybody was happy as how food, shelter, etc.
Okay.
Yeah. And Temple High brings everything, have life and everything. I wish everybody in Temple High enjoys books and nobody would.
Okay, and now we have a little skip. Okay. Okay, let's go. Again, you guys can do it.
This is the picture that we drew Abraham leaving his home. This is Abraham on his knees. We see him on his way to where he's supposed to go. And there's more picture. Abraham walking along with his bag to where God is sending him.
All right.
Country you are in, so forth to a different country. But why, my loving families? You are a nobody. The only people that like you are your parents, your family. If you say so, then I guess so. But where should I go? I will lead you. Mother, father, brothers, I have just spoken to the Lord. I have just spoken to the Lord. He said, and the Son were all gods, except then, when he got older, he started to think, if they're all moving and disappearing, then there has to be something a lot bigger in charge of all that. So one day, this guy comes up and he asks about if he could buy an idol. And he says, how old are you? He says, 30. And that's some of the cave, and that's another cave, and that's the sun, and those are the stars. And that's a picture of no more an idol crossed down, someone ruining idol.
All right.
Picture of when Abraham was destroying all the idols. Looks kind of funny, but this one is Abraham knocking out an idol, and and then he's going over to the other idols because he believed that idols was if idols were created a day before you take them, then how could they control you all your life? So he was destroying them all to show everybody that they could not really be the God. So this is just a picture of him destroying all of them.
Okay,
And as
thank
you
you.
can see, he's trying to destroy every single idol he can, except for one. And he's taking all weapons like a club. He's going to kill this idol. And he has many things. He has many weapons like
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Malkeinu, B'Hamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
I'm going to ask you now to
Say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Rama, V'yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, Ve'imeru Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shall we sing it? Oh, great.
rock song. Here we go, and Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, come up the Lord. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, come again, hear you more. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, come up the Lord. Elijah rock, shout, shout. Elijah rock, come. Okay, Grandma, can I have you up here and make this?
be in your cabins or your lounge area. And then you'll hear the shofar and you'll go down to the sports field. Yeah.
Oh, good, that's gonna shake it out.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah. Do it.
Take your time.
You guys ready?
I'll kill that kid. Josh.
Straighten up. You guys move back.
Walk fast, Josh.
All right, you guys ready?
Don't pressure.
On your mark, get set, go!
see them like this.
Come on!
Oh, look at him go. Wow. Green, blue, and red. Green, blue, red. Watch out, guys!
The red team finished third.
Start through. Green, red, yellow. Green, red, yellow.
Red team. Blue team. Ready? We'll win. We'll win. Are you ready? Go! Please! Where's the fourth trader? Fourth trader. Fourth grade girls. Fourth grade girls. Where's the fifth grade girl?
Mickey, you better cheer for us. You're happy to be your best cheerleader. Toby!
Oh my God.
Okay. Remember, use your legs. Squat down. Keep your knees bent. No, like this. You guys set over here. Keep both you guys ready to beat these guys? Dig in. Dig in. Like this. Lean it. Okay. Lean. Remember, lean into it.
Do the other way. Yeah, it'll be better.
Okay.
Wait, stop pulling! No, we're not ready yet.
You ready?
No.
Don't fall on the rope.
Rick against everybody. That'd be
Ready?
fair.
Okay. Ready? Set. Go!
All right, counselors, let's do a tug of war.
All counselors, take
Come
a
on,
nap.
counselors. Counselors, tug of war.
I ain't telling you on that.
That's one thing.
Everybody.
Yeah.
do that for us. We've brought a very famous reporter from channel CHAI. He's here with us tonight to tell you about some very important events. I'd like you to welcome Walter Cronkite Burke.
Anti-Semitism as I was growing up and at the university. I felt that the only just system was socialism and the difference in classes was not fair. As I grew older, or before I grew older, I felt I was a German first and a Jew second. But as I grew older, I started encountering anti-Semitism on many occasions and realized that the hatred of the Jews, as many had thought had dissipated, was still there and would always be there. So in 1862, I wrote a book, and the book was called Rome and Jerusalem. In that book, I requested all the Jews of the world to gather together and return to Palestine to create a homeland. My peers and friends and enemies felt that I was a lunatic for writing such things, and it should never come to pass and was not necessary. Although I died before my dream came true, in 1961, my remains were taken from Germany and buried in the land of Israel, and now I can rest in peace.
Thank you very much. There were many great leaders in the Zionist movement, but no one was greater than Theodor Herzl, who really started the modern Zionist movement. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to present to you Theodor Herzl.
My name is Theodor Herzl, and I'm very glad to be here. I spent a lot of time, most of my life, in the late 18 and early 1900s, working towards the Zionist movement. I traveled all around Europe and Asia, going to different countries, talking to the leaders. I talked to the Kaiser in Germany, and I said, please, can you give us the land of Palestine? He said, if you have enough money, you can have it. I talked to the Turkish government, and they said, well, we'll give you some land elsewhere, but we can't give you Palestine. And I British government, and they said, well, we'll give your movement, your Zionist movement, some land in Africa if you'd like, but we can't give you Palestine. I died before Palestine ever came to be. I never saw it, but like my friend, my remains were moved to Palestine too. Now, I know that you have an activity later. You have to learn this. One of the things I said, it's a phrase, goes, if you will it, it is no dream. Can you say that? If you will it, it is no dream. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much.
The Hebrew, by the way, some of you know the Hebrew for that phrase, Im tirtzu ein zo agada. Repeat after me. Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, it is no dream. We still say those words taught by the great Theodor Herzl. And now, to bring you even closer to the time of the great vote of the United Nations, one of the most powerful men in the 20th century was a great British statesman, Lord Arthur James Balfour. We're going to bring him to you right now.
Great honor.
Good evening. My name is Lord Arthur James Balfour. I recall back in 1914, when I was a much younger man, when Dr. Chaim Weizmann came to me and visited me to discuss Jewish homeland in Palestine. It was just right after the First World War began, 1917. I told him that my colleagues agreed with him and that I would support a homeland for the Jews in Palestine. I recall Chaim asking me about the Pope's reaction to a homeland, and I knew that the Pope was reluctant to assist us in making such an area for the Jews. The United States, President Woodrow Wilson was encouraging. I knew then that now was the time for the Zionists to formulate a statement, which later was called the Balfour Declaration. That was May 1917. Some of the newspapers came out against the homeland in Palestine, but the Zionists reacted, and soon the New York Times came out with an editorial in favor of the homeland. In August, I met again with Chaim Weizmann, and I told him that there were many Jews who did not like the idea of a homeland. But if we could get support from others, and he wanted to repay me for some of or I wanted to repay him, I should say. He was a very established scientist and helped the Britons in their chemical research. If we could establish the homeland, we could use we could get the goodwill of the Russian Jews, Polish Jews, and the American Zionist leaders. We would have the support of Jews all over the world. In November, British General William Allenby won Palestine from the Turks and entered Jerusalem. Jews everywhere danced in the streets. And then we wrote the Balfour Declaration, which represents an important milestone on the road toward building a Jewish state. The goal of establishing a Jewish state has been given official international recognition, and Jews continue to hope its fulfillment would come soon. Thank you.
Of course, I don't have to tell you that relations with the British, between you and the British, were not so good. We We thought with the Balfour Declaration things would be good, but it was not so good. And then came World War II. And Hitler tried to kill every Jew on the planet Earth, and came very close. By that time, of course, there was at least 500,000 Jews living in Israel, and we had drained the swamps and built up cities. We built Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv was a sand dune. We made a great city. And we planted the deserts, and we made the deserts bloom. And we built the Hadassah Hospital, one of the great hospitals of the world. And we built Hebrew University, one of the great universities in the world. But during the war, during World War II, we almost lost everybody. We almost lost every Jew. But thank God the Allies were able to win. And of course, there were many Jewish soldiers who fought to defeat Hitler as part of the effort to defeat Hitler. And after the war, in the last couple of years, you have not been able to get people into Palestine. The British have blockaded the coast. And I know that you've tried to get people in illegally. You've brought boats in, these poor displaced persons who were in the concentration camps, and nobody would take these people, mostly orphans, children who don't even have any parents. And you took them into your country, or tried to, but the British have closed off the gates. And if the United Nations will vote to allow you a state, so that the state of Israel can exist, and you can have a homeland, and you can be in charge of the coastline, and the boats can come in, and all of the Jews who were in the concentration camps in Europe can come into Israel and can help build up the land. But of course, that's why we're here tonight, because we don't know how the vote is going to go. The returns, if you can see up here, the returns from New York City have begun to come in. We're beginning to get some. We have people on the radio, telegraph, who are giving us instantaneous results of where the vote stands. We have no idea what will happen. We don't know, for example, how the rest of the nations will vote, because if they all vote against, then there's no hope. We also don't know that if it passes, we don't know if Arab armies will attack Israel. It could happen any moment. This is a very, very difficult moment for us. And I am also simultaneously broadcasting not only here but live back to the United States, and the people back in the United States would like to hear your comments at this great moment. They too are listening to the vote of the United Nations, and they wonder what you think. Do you think the Jewish state will be declared? How do you think some of the great countries will vote? How do you think Great Britain will vote? How do you think the United States will vote? And how do you think Russia will vote? And if Russia votes one way, will the United States vote the other way? These are some of the questions that people back home would like to know. We'd like to get some of your answers. Yes? Could we have your name, please?
Melissa.
And your last name?
Shipman.
Melissa, how do you think the vote will go? Do you think that the state will be declared?
Yeah.
Do you think there will be a Jewish state?
Yeah.
Do you think the Arabs will invade?
Yeah.
She's a very smart woman. And how do you think the United States will vote?
For it.
For it. That's what you think. Now, well, let's see back here. Let's have... Yes, what's your name?
Oh. Chad. Australia.
And Mr. Ostreicher, what do you think? How do you think the Great Britain, how do you think that England will vote? Will England vote for the state of Israel?
No.
How do you think Russia will vote? For or against?
Against.
Against, okay. Yes, what is your name?
Andy.
And yes, Mr. Andy, tell us, how do you think that the United States will vote?
They'll vote. Yes.
Yes. Do you think the Arab armies will invade?
No.
Okay. And if the United States votes yes, do you think that the Russians will decide to vote the opposite way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We must go over here. These other countries are going to vote. This is one of the great moments in the history of the world. And we need the vote coming in. We're going to try to broadcast the vote live from New York City. Okay, we think the vote's going to be coming on any minute.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Yes. United Kingdom. Abstain.
That's England. England abstain.
USSR. Yes. Yes.
Uruguay. That was Uruguay.
United States of America. Yes. Venezuela. Yes. White Russia. Yes. Yemen. No. Yugoslavia. Abstain. And absent is Siam.
Siam is absent.
The vote is completed.
The vote is completed. The state has been declared.
Eilat and Tiberias and Haifa are going to go straight back into the lounge for Pin the Star on Jerusalem. I mean, you're going to go right there where Shari is waving her hand. That's where you're going to go. Okay, if you're in the city of, you won't hear me? If you're in the city of Safat,
This is our Madonna service. You have to get very quiet for this. You just come out of one mood going into another. Has to be very, very quiet. You set a very special mood in a very special place. Okay. I need everybody to hold hands with the person in front of you and behind you. It's too noisy back here.